So you forget it, you treat yourself. So my suggestion would be, you be a good one organization and love your karma bhumi and do something for your janma bhumi also. You know? Do something. At least remove the myths about India that the West and the other countries have. It's all not true. You would be surprised. India had the hoariest science in the past. Very great. Now talking about it is no good. But we shouldn't talk. Let's see what the Western thinkers say. Voltaire said, I quote, Voltaire is a great French thinker. He said, when we were hunter-gatherers roaming the forest, these Indians had universities of excellence in 5 places, where wise people from all over the world flocked to get more wisdom. What a beautiful saying. Ilyabas, Bandhaban, Takshila, Banaras, and Nalanda. What a beautiful thing. You go to Gaya and see the Nalanda. Still the structure is there. And the structure is so beautiful. They want to revive that. And you must see the gown, the Nalanda University convocation gown, which is so good compared to the Ku Klux Klan gown that we use from the ecumenical 12th century European universities that we have. Man gets the Nobel Prize and an alternate Nobel Prize for finding out that energy and matter are identical. Matter is energy and energy is matter. He calls it as E is equal to M. And he calls it as a duality. That means no duality. But the man writes an article for you. Read this. Matter is not made out of matter. Article the pair in there. Matter is not made out of matter. His name is Hans, H-A-N-S, Peter, P-E-T-E-R, Dürr, D-U-R-R. Hans Peter Dürr. There he says, I call it as a duality because there is no duality between matter and energy. But who am I compared to the Indian sages who thousands of years ago called it as Advaita? Who says that? Hans Peter Dürr. You and I don't know. And he quotes the Upanishads to prove that matter is energy, energy is matter, and the two are the same. Bahirantascha bhutanam. It is inside and outside of everything. Charam acharamevacha. It moves all the time but looks very solid. You all look solid. There's nothing solid about you. You are just a bundle of jumping leptococs, jumping electrons. Sukshmavate tavijnayam. It's so subtle that no vijnana, no science can see it. Absolutely true. You can't see an electron even today. Nobody has seen an electron, but people have got Nobel Prize for describing an electron without seeing it. And if you say there is God, they say, have you seen God? I haven't seen God, but have you seen an electron? No. Why did you get a Nobel Prize for saying electron is particle, or electron is wave, or electron is wavicle, or electron is nothing? Each one of them got the Nobel Prize. J.J. Thomson in 1906 got the Nobel Prize for saying that electrons are particles. He was the director of the Cavendish Institute in Cambridge. 30 years later, his own son, J.G. Thomson, gets the Nobel Prize for saying that they are waves. Father said they are particles, son said it's waves. And Erwin Schrödinger gets it for, he said they are waves and particles at different times, wavicles. See? And all this is because we believed blindly Western science is correct and ours is wrong. This is the problem. We have a real problem, a mindset. We don't understand these things. And if you read their book, The Golem, written by 2 physics professors, Colin Harris, and Trevor Pinch, P-I-N-C-H. Trevor Pinch. This is a very small book. You get an Indian edition on Amazon.com for 75 rupees, or a Western edition for about $5. And read the book. It will tell you what is a huge thing, fraud called science. And these are not villagers like B.M. Hegde. They are professors of physics in New York. They have written that. And you must see, none of these scientific methods have any proof. E is equal to mc squared. Theory of relativity. 16 experiments showed that is wrong. But it's being taught even today in schools and colleges. Right? But 1925, there was a student in Zurich Polytechnic who was being taught by Einstein himself. And the student got up and said, and the old man was explaining E is equal to mc squared. He got up and said, sir, you're talking through your hat. It's all bullshit, he told. What will happen to a student who tells a Nobel laureate professor that he's talking bullshit? What will happen to the student? He becomes an outstanding student, standing outside. For how many years? 30 years. And then gets the Nobel Prize. And the only Nobel Prize which is worth its gold is the Nobel Prize this student gets. And his name is Werner Heisenberg, who said uncertainty principle. There's no certainty about anything. PQ is not equivalent to QP. 2 into 3 may be 6, but 3 into 2 need not be 6. We don't teach this in school. 2 into 2 is 4 always, right? Thermodynamics. Fluid can't grow up, can it? No. You keep liquid helium in a bowl, hang it up. After 2 days, the helium goes up and comes down. Where is thermodynamics? See, we don't believe this, do we? No. They said ether was there. Ether, that's where telephone used to go through ether. Now we know there is no ether. And you are still taught in school that inside an atom is a central nucleus and then electrons go round in circles, they jump from one thing to the other, right? There's nothing inside any atom. There's nothing inside an atom. 1920, Annie Besant, Charles Leadbeater, her boyfriend, and Babington, their colleague, come from Cambridge to get more wisdom in India and go to Himalayas and meditate and become yogis. And she writes a book. Annie Besant has written a book. Next time you are in Chennai, buy this book. And the book is called Occult Chemistry. Small book. Occult Chemistry. Annie Besant. Annie Besant, you know, who started the Congress party with all the problems for us now. Anyway, now coming back to Annie Besant herself. She wrote this beautiful book where she says, when I become a yogic siddhi and when I get into that elevated state of consciousness, I can visualize the inside of atoms. And 9 atoms from helium to hydrogen. And I know there is nothing inside an atom. When did she write? 1920. Now quantum physics says there is nothing inside an atom. Can you believe that? And this is what the books write and you read and you believe. And that's exactly what is called the Western medicine. My friend was telling yesterday, we have a wonderful drug now. What is that? Receptor blockers. And the minute you find a receptor blocker, you get a Nobel Prize. You find something very great, no Nobel Prize. Receptor blockers research is funded by the drug company. So they plant a man called Venkat Raman in Cambridge University. He finds a receptor blocker, he gets the Nobel Prize. But at the same time, the first receptor blocker researcher, Candace Pert, who was working in NIH under Saul Snyder, found out that the opioid receptors are outside the brain also. For the first time she found out. But the boss stole the data and wrote a paper and tried to get a Nobel Prize. So this girl found out in time, went to the Nobel Committee showing her ledger and said, it's my work, he has quoted. So the boss and the assistant both didn't get the Nobel Prize. The result was, this girl loses her job in NIH. Her name is Candace Pert. What's her name? Candace Pert. NIH is the highest court or the highest palace for research in America. National Institute of Health. And Candace was thrown out. But she wrote a book. She wrote a beautiful book. Please read this book. Molecules of Emotion. What's the book? Molecules of Emotion. Candace Pert. P-E-R-T. C-A-N-D-A-C-E. And Candace writes in this book so beautifully. Time has come for us now not to reach to a tablet counter when you have a headache, but to sit in a quiet place in your own house, meditate for a little while and elevate your consciousness and tell yourself their headache will go and the headache will go. This is called quantum healing. There's a beautiful book written by one Indian professor of physics in America. It's called Quantum Doctor. Please read that book, Quantum Doctor. He's a great professor. Probably Soporkar may know him. His name is, what's his name? Goswami, Amit Goswami. Amit Goswami is professor of quantum physics in the University of Eugene in, what is that place called? Oregon. And Amit is a very nice man. Amit has written a beautiful book. And Amit was nominated for Nobel 3 times but didn't get the Nobel Prize. Amit was the one who started that CERN reactor thing in France. Billions of dollars are spent there. Now Amit says it's a foolish thing because there are no particles at all. Why continue that? But people want to continue that because there is a big research grant. It's a joke. Western research is a joke. I wrote a letter to Abdul Kalam. Why send a man to moon? 100,000 crores of Indian money. We have 45 million Indian children who do not have more than not even one meal. They are suffering from a disease called NIDS. Have you heard of NIDS? You all heard of AIDS, right? Did you know AIDS and the HIV virus has nothing in it common? No? No. Other dentists, you think AIDS na thoda mudiyadu. Very interesting. This is created for making money, to sell Zadovidine. Read this book as a dentist. Inventing the AIDS virus. Inventing the AIDS virus. Written by Peter Duesberg. Peter Duesberg. Duesberg. He's professor of virology in the Berkeley University. And this book has a foreword by a Nobel laureate who was the father of PCR test. What's his name? PCR test. What was the name? Carey Mullis. And Carey writes, Peter and I don't know what causes AIDS, but there's no cause for AIDS. But Peter and I know one thing for certain, which nobody can dispute because he is the best virologist in the world, having got the Genius of the Century award. And I am the father of the PCR test which identifies viruses. Nobody can dispute. And Peter and I do not think HIV virus has anything to do with AIDS. Full stop. Unquote. But you and I believe. See, this is what we are. You and I are made to believe in wrong things for the sake of what is called? Wall Street greed. Wall Street greed. But my happiness is I love that man Creek. Because I have been saying that modern medicine has oversold itself and it is coming near its end. It's almost at its end. And that's why the West, there is a craze for alternate medicines. Would you know the budget of Europe's last year's alternate medicine? $70 billion. Is it music to the ears of Ayurveda people? $70 billion. There's so much a movement of Ayurveda today. 4 months ago, I was in Germany for an Ayurvedic conference of Europe. Again, in June, they have invited me to London for another meeting. See, there's a thick movement. Universities are interested. People are interested in Ayurveda because they have almost seen the horizon of Western medicine, non-scientific medicine, using linear mathematics as the base. And linear mathematics cannot be the base of modern science of human beings because human being is non-linear. Universe is non-linear. And quantum physics now says non-locality. Things happen elsewhere. Supposing I am thinking about my friend in London now, some photons of mine will be acting on that man and you wouldn't believe it happens, You seriously think. Yesterday I finished my thing. I reached my room at 7:55. I just opened my door, my phone rings. And this man says, you must have finished your meeting. You must have come back. I just wanted to say hello to you. Can you believe that? Honest to God. He's about 85-year-old man called Linus. He's such a nice man. He's my friend. And he has to call me wherever I am in the world twice a day. And he knows to call me when I am in my room. That's the interesting part of it. He exactly knows. This is called non-locality. And non-locality was condemned by Einstein. He said, can't happen. Everything must happen here in my laboratory. Locality. Non-locality. What do you mean? Is God playing dice with the world? Einstein asked. Today he should be ashamed. Because today even we know what's called transportation, teleportation. You can convey an idea at a distance without any telephone wire, without any, cell phone and things like that. Experiments showed that you can evoke a potential in a brain of a yogi or a mystic. You can electrically evoke a potential and tell the yogi, transmit this potential to all your sishyas. And would you believe the potential gets transferred to the brains of all your sishyas? There's a yogi, professor of physics in Stanford University called William Teller. William Teller can convey his idea to any matter. He will keep a glass of water here and say, he'll concentrate on that and say, let this water have pH of 4.5, pH of 4.5, pH of 4.5. After some time you take that water, pH of 4.5. You drink it, it's water, but the pH is 4.5. You know the pH of this water? RO, reverse osmosis water, slightly acidic. Be careful when you drink it. So if you want to drink it, put little lime in it and drink it so that it becomes alkaline. So you don't know what's happening in this world. You and I are taken for a ride. So friends, with all this background knowledge, now let me tell you, lifestyle change is the only future for your health. Your health is in your hands. It's not in anyone's hands. It's not in doctor's hands, medicine's hands, no. You don't know when once you get a disease, what will happen to you. The greatest neurosurgeon, one of the best neurosurgeons in America, an Indian boy, youngster, very interesting boy. He gets cancer at a young age, lung cancer. Boy who married an American girl, they were planning to have a child, and he gets a little cough and loses weight, and then writes a book. Bookkude per endu mane? Good girl. Molu nalla mola. Pare. When breath becomes air. You must read that book. You will cry. He's the best boy, best neurosurgeon, and he is supposed to be the best. And 5 universities wanted him as professor, but he chooses his own university, Stanford, and joins there. His wife is an internist, and they join, and then they choose the best cancer specialist in America, because there, Western says, just Google it, and they get the best cancer specialist. And this girl says, don't worry. Your cancer has 3 treatments. 1, a tablet a day, 20 years life. If it fails, chemotherapy, 5 years of life. If it fails, radiation, surgery, another 5 years of life. So you have another 25 years of life, you can plan your family. Husband and wife plan for a child. And she becomes pregnant. Tablet fails, chemotherapy fails, to cut the long story short, he dies. But before dying, he writes this book. This boy has done masters in English literature before going to the medical school in Yale, and he is a fantastic English, I tell you. This is a book worth its weight in gold. When breath becomes air. What a beautiful thing. When breath becomes air is a poem written by Walt Whitman, and the same poem's title he takes for the book. And if you read that book, you know this relying on doctors, medicines, and things like that is like relying on the devil. You rely on yourself. You say, let me not get cancer. If I get cancer, God only can help. I mean, if money can do and treatment, Jayalalitha would have died. Would she have died? She shouldn't have died. Because she can command anything in the world. But then, it has limitations. That is why don't get into a situation where you go into that what is called the mortuary, pre-mortuary, that is intensive care unit. Ultimate destination is the mortuary, but before that you go through the intensive care unit so that you drain yourself of all your savings and your other things. So, lifestyle. What a beautiful saying. Very simple, very simple. Eat half of what you want to eat. Supposing you want to eat 4 idlis, stop at 2 idlis. You will live probably another 20 years longer. Studies showed rats fed full stomach lived half the time of rats just fed half stomach. Can you believe that? So stop when you think you can eat equal amount. And eat in moderation and don't have any restrictions. Who told you must have a breakfast in the morning, a lunch in the afternoon and evening? Nothing. Whenever you feel hungry, you eat something. When you don't feel hungry, don't eat nothing. So eating in the olden days, one pediatrician killed a lot of children in America. He said, time feed a child. 2 o'clock, breastfeeding, 3 o'clock, something else, 4 o'clock, something else. Then when a lot of children died, he said, I'm sorry. Child knows when it wants food. It cries. Feed it. Don't overload it. There are even now Western aping Indian mothers who feed by the clock. Don't do that. You also don't do that. But one good advice which I gave yesterday is good. Don't eat after the sundown. These Jains, the Jiten and all, they don't eat after sundown. They call it as palahara. That means they eat everything other than rice. That's Alona? That's what happens. But anyway, we had a lot of good ideas. Don't eat. Number 2, help as many people as you can. Each time you help somebody, that fellow will not be grateful to you. Forget it. He'll be ungrateful to you. But you are benefiting yourself. Because your body is built in such a way that paropakarartham idam shariram. You are here for others. And so try to do good to everybody. But the minute you do some good to somebody, follow Jesus. Let not the right hand know what the left hand does. Forget. And if you forget, you're happy. If you don't forget, and if you say, okay, I help B.M. Hegde, and when B.M. Hegde harms you, you feel terribly bad. And there was Ashutosh Mukherjee was a great teacher in Bengal. He was told one day, by, he was an old man, somebody said, see, so-and-so was bad-mouthing you so badly. Then he smiled. Here, I am telling you the truth, why are you smiling? He smiled and said, no, I am only thinking, when did I help him? Because if you don't help somebody, they won't badmouth you. So you forget, but help you must. You must go out of your way to help sometimes. Because it helps you. Because he is you. Remember that? You and I are just leptoquarks. He is a leptoquark. And the same leptoquark exchanges between you and him. And your same consciousness and same mind, and his mind and your mind are connected. So if you help someone else or someone else helps you, he or she gets the benefit out of it. And that's the next thing that you do. Ayurveda is so good. Nitya, hita, mita, ahara, sevi. In moderation, what you like. A lot of people say, you'll sit down there and say, does it have cholesterol? Does it have this, that? That itself will give you blood pressure. Whether it is cholesterol or poison, you eat it, finished. And this eating that we have been doing, our ancestors have been doing, has come by what's called observational research. Why didn't people eat some poisonous fruit? They have seen over thousands of years that eating that fruit will kill you. And how did we choose? Who told you to eat rice? Who told you to eat wheat? Like, for example, why do you eat potato and sweet potato? Solanaceae plants are there in the wild for 500 varieties, but only 2 varieties you eat. The rest of them are all poisonous. So we are so lucky. There's so much research in the past. Today's research is what? Measuring things. Do you know what it's called, the Western research called? Fish net hypothesis. How many of you know what is fish net hypothesis? Really? John von Neumann is a great, Hungarian-born American chemist who got the Nobel Prize for chemistry. He said, fish net hypothesis. Ichthyologists, fishes. These fishes went to the sea to study fish. So they caught fish, came back to the laboratory, used a vernier caliper, measured everything up and down and said, one conclusion. What's the hypothesis? All sea fish are bigger than 2 inches in length. That became a proposal. It became hypothesis, then became thesis, and then became a theory. That's how science is. You know what is thesis? I asked a lot of these PhD students in the exam, I said, what is thesis? Thesis, sir, is writing about, sir, this is a dissertation, sir, it's this, but what is the meaning of the word thesis? Thesis, sir, thesis. This is how we study in our schools. Just mug up. Do you know what thesis is? Thesis is a table in the king's court in the olden days. So if you have a theory or if you have a proposal, if the king accepts it, you can keep it on the table. That's called thesis. Today, there's PhD. And if it can't be kept there and the king rejects it, you keep it under. It's called hypothesis. That's the truth. But how many PhD students know the etymological meaning of the word thesis? That's the problem. Anyway, come back. Then what happened? After some time, another group of ichthyologists went to the sea and they caught fish. Their fish had a smaller net hole, so even 1-inch fish were caught. So their hypothesis said 1 inch also can be sea fish. So another thesis. So the present science of the West, only 5 senses. And these 5 senses measure whatever they measure at the given time, and that's called the final word, which is not. And if you go with the smaller net to the sea, you can get 1/2 inch fish also. It's called fish net hypothesis. Please go and read that fish net hypothesis. Read a little more and then you get what all things happen in this world, you just don't know. This world is not what you see. Remember that? So, the man who got the Nobel Prize and the alternate Nobel Prize and wrote about what is called the real A-duality says this world is Wirklichkeit. Wirklichkeit in German means drama. And he says it is Maya, Shankara's Maya. So beautiful. And that's the world is not what you see. It is something else, but you are made to believe in something else, which is called advertisement. You know what is advertisement? You don't know. 1954, John Kenneth Galbraith, who was the American ambassador in India in the 50s, before you were born, this fellow was 7'2". So when Pandit Nehru and he were walking, Pandit Nehru had to look like that, to look at him. Pandit Nehru himself was tall, but this fellow was 7.2. This fellow was a professor of economics in Harvard. He wrote a book in 1954 called Affluent Society, where he says, advertisement is not to tell the truth about the product to the community. It is about entice them to buy that product when they don't even need it. For example, you go to a mall, M-A-L-L, 2 shirts for 1 shirt's price. The wife becomes greedy. She says, you better buy the 2 shirts now because you won't get it later. This fellow doesn't need shirts. He has enough shirts at home. But she says, no, see, it's cheaper now. Buy it. So the shirt is sold. And what that mall has done, for 2 shirts price, their 1 shirt price has become. So they have not lost anything. But you become an ass that you bought the shirts when you don't need them. This is called advertisement. Same thing about medicine now. In the olden days, when we were all students, we took an oath, Hippocratic oath, and become hypocrites after that. But then, Hippocratic oath says, you should not even have a board longer than 1.5 feet and 1 foot long. You should not advertise yourself. Today, my God, photograph of a doctor, the best cardiac surgeon in the world is standing here in XYZ for corporate hospital. Finished. That is not good. Because people should not go by that to get a cardiac surgery done. And when you go to meet your maker, then you can't discuss and say, oh, I did a mistake, I went to the wrong place because of advertisement. Right? So that is what is. Nitya hita mita ahara sevi. Samikshakari. Work very hard. You must have seen our ancestors. Oh my God. I had a grandfather who lived up to 102. This fellow used to work even when he was 100. He used to go out. And he has to go to the court every day with a lot of lands and everything. One day, when he was about 100, his children said, you can't now go to the court. So they restricted him from going to the court. And the day he was restricted, he was feeling bad. And he felt bad, died within a year. Otherwise, he would have lived long. Probably he would have lived for another 10 years. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. We didn't allow him to do that. Samikshakari. Then what does it say? Data. Data. Be a giver, not a taker. We are all takers. I'm looking forward. What will the IADK give me? What will they give me? And things. No. Be a giver. Give something to others. Data. Samaha. You must look after everybody. Same way. A lot of us have this bad habit. When you talk to the big president, hello sir, Jiten sir. Supposing the peon is there, hey, come here. No. When I was a dean, a lot of these, medical college and dental college and all, love affairs are very common. So when she loves a boy and then after some time she'll come to me and say, sir, please give me some advice, sir. I want to marry Jiten sir and I have friends. How do you think he's a good boy or not? So I tell them, look, I can give you ideas about Jiten between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Between 5 p.m. and 9 a.m., what he does, I wouldn't know. So don't ask me. Take Jiten for an evening date. Take him to a restaurant and observe how he behaves with human beings. When he goes there, the restaurant chief comes there. He says, "Hello, sir. How are you today? How are you doing?" "Hello, sir." And then he goes near the table where you both sit, and there's little dirt there. Then he calls that, "Hey, come here, clean this." Don't marry him. He is not an honest man. He treats different people differently. And that's not good for health. Samaha. Then Satyapara. See, you imagine for a minute, telling a lie is very stressful. Supposing I have to tell a lie, I must remember that every day. Because next time somebody asks, the same lie must come, no? So that is a terrible stress. Telling a lie raises your blood pressure, your heart rate. Tell the truth. It's the same truth anyway, wherever you are. What is there in it? You must be an open book. You shouldn't have any two things, inside one, outside one. Same thing. Fine. Tell the truth. Satyapara. Kshamavan. You can do all these things, but others can come and slap you on the face. Forgive him. Poor man, he doesn't know. He knows not what he knows not. So forgive him. Shun him. Don't forgive him. Forgiveness, I tell you, is the greatest stress buster. And forgiveness, lot of people come to me with ulcers in the mouth. After ulcers, they have taken B complex after B complex after B complex. Then even the dental surgeons give them steroid ointments, etc., etc. I tell them, forgive. Make a list of people you hate. Forgive them. After ulcers simply disappear. Simply disappear. You just see that. You will be surprised. I tell them, don't even tell your husband or wife. Close your room and make a list of people you hate. Simply make a list of people you hate. And then make an effort. Sit and meditate and say, I forgive B.M. Megde. After all, he's an ass. Let him go to hell. Just see. You relax. After the ulcer is gone. Blood pressure gone. Migraine gone. Autoimmune disease gone. Kshamavan. Then what does it say? Aptopasevi bhavet arogyam. Don't treat just your husband and wife as yours. Everybody is mine. Everybody is mine. My uncle, my aunt, my niece, my nephew, my grandfather, whatever it is. You just treat everyone as your equal and your blood pressure will come down. Your cancer will disappear. Did you know that? Your cancer will disappear. Now, friends, something more about lifestyle. Today, science tells us that you and I are not solid. We are just liquid or energy. Now, when you are energy, the matter changes into energy and energy changes into matter 1024 times in a second. In a second. And remember, each time the energy knows the blueprint of the matter. So, supposing, let us say, I have a problem in the eye. I was telling my friend. I can sit and meditate. And then I say, let my eye come back to its normal shape. Let my eye come back to its normal position. Let my eye come back. And next time when the matter becomes, energy becomes matter, let it correct it. Keep on doing that. This is called auto-suggestion. And this is called quantum healing. And lo and behold, your eyes get better. And people have now shown that you can sort of quantum heal anything. And please read that book, Amit Goswami's book, Quantum Doctor. And you as a doctor will get a lot of benefit because you can help your patients do that. There are a lot of things you can't cure, but you can. I'll give you another book, Anatomy of an Illness. Read that book, Anatomy of an Illness. Small book, written by Norman Cousins, a very famous American journalist. This fellow went to cover Kennedy-Khrushchev meeting in the 60s to Moscow in December. And they were standing in the tarmac. A jet was turning itself. In that minus 40 degrees centigrade cold, the jet hit him so hard that he fell down. And some peculiar pain started in his body. He was admitted in Moscow hospital, then transferred to Boston to Harvard Medical School Hospital, where they made a diagnosis of ankylosing spondylitis. There's no treatment for that. You become stiff like a wooden log and then die. And they told him he will live for 3 months. And they gave him a room and said, enjoy here because you are a very famous journalist. You die in Harvard Hospital itself. So he's lying there. He's resigned to his fate, saying that he's going to die. All of his friends used to come and talk. And one day somebody came and joked, really joked. And this fellow laughed. For the first time he laughed. Heart till he laughed. Norman Cousins laughed. And then he found his finger was moving. When he laughed, the finger moved. So his friend said, we must make him laugh all the time. Those days, no television. So they brought this 8 millimeter, that gudu 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 machine. In the olden days, when you were born, they probably you went to the cinema theater, it gudu gudu gudu, and then it stops, and another gudu gudu gudu, it starts. Yeah. So this gudu gudu, all Charlie Chaplin and all movies, they came. He laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, walked out to Harvard Hospital after 3 months, and remained alive for 20 more years to write this book to tell you how laughter can cure you. Just stress busters, that's all. What's the book name? Anatomy of an Illness. What's the author's name? Norman, Norman. Cousins, Cousins. You read that book. As doctors, as dentists. Now don't have a classification of doctors. Today quantum physics says tooth is a part of the body. You will be surprised. You started with one cell that included the tooth also. It didn't come separately. With the implantology it came. No, it didn't come. The tooth also originated from the one cell. And this cell divides, but divides in a peculiar way. That's the most important thing. Mark these words. It doesn't completely divide. There's a partial septum which comes, and 1 becomes 2. Partial septum comes, 2 becomes 4. And then it becomes 12 trillion, 120 trillion cells. But they're all interconnected. It's called a syncytium. And very interestingly, unlike what we have, that organ-based thing, 2 brain cells may not have the same genome. A brain cell and a heart cell can have the same genome. A brain cell and a kidney cell can have the same genome. A brain cell and a gum cell can have the same genome. A gum cell and a tooth cell can have the same genome. So you can reconstruct any organ from any other place. You can even reconstruct a tooth. You can reconstruct a gum by quantum healing. And don't you call yourself a dental surgeon, because you can't deal with only one organ. The organ specialization is gone. And you are a human body healer. Call yourself a healer or a doctor if you like. I'm afraid to call myself a doctor, because if you know the meaning of the word doctor, you will be afraid to call yourself. Doctor comes from dossier. Dossier is to teach. A doctor doesn't become a teacher. Doctor is who is a teacher? Teacher is an example for students. A doctor should be an example to society. And a great responsibility, mind you. You can't monkey around being a doctor. You must be an ideal human being. And very difficult. So I don't call myself a doctor. I call myself just a professor, as a teacher, that's all. And actually, this girl was saying, Professor Dr. B.M. Hegde, there's nothing in the English. The convention in London University is when you become a professor in the university, you lose your other tags. You become Professor so-and-so. Or supposing you become a surgeon in London, you call you Mr. so-and-so. And if you're a woman, you're called Miss so-and-so. So then after that, there's no doctor there. So it's just one of those things. Doctor is a very, very big thing. Actually, great things, brainy fellows are called doctors. And they're all examples to society. And we should all try to be an example to society, because society respects you. Society expects a lot of things from you. And society doesn't expect you to be a monkey and to be monkey around. So friends, very easy to heal yourself. Quantum healing has come to stay. And this is, you don't know, we don't know what's happening in this world. We as a team, 4 of us, went to Brazil to investigate a man called John of God. Anyone heard of him, John of God? Have you heard of him? You raised your hand. No. John of God is a villager, farmer. One fine morning he had a vision from God saying that you have power to heal. So he started healing people, left, right and center. And people slowly, it is a small little village. Today it has become a huge town. Huge town. And you go there, you see a lot of these crutches, wheelchairs and are left there by people who came in wheelchair, went back walking. And we photographed him with 5 cameras in different places, seeing him operate on a breast cancer. The man comes, a villager, doesn't even wash his hands. He stands there and then prays for a long time. And then picks up his knife on the table, bread knife, and holds the breast like that and puts an incision. No blood comes out. Puts his hand inside the breast and squeezes that thing out. And then puts the breast there, hand there, and prays. Takes it out, no scar also. Can you believe that? You won't believe that. But I can tell you, I have got photographs of that. And you must see the thousands of people who flock there. and go back happy. A lot of things you and I don't know. The world is very wide and we have to know a lot. And what we know, what I know about this world is not even 0.0001% of what is to be known. Hell of a lot to be known. And that makes you humble. Humility is education, says India's system. Vidya dadati vinaya, vidya vinaya sampanna. The greatest degree is how humble you are in this world. You are the educated man. How arrogant you are, irrespective of what ABCD you have after your name, it couldn't matter. You are nobody. Humility says, look, I am yet to know a lot. And I have to know a lot. And that really stimulates you to know a lot. So friends, only thing that helps you to live is your lifestyle. Lifestyle. Work very hard, eat less, talk the truth, help others, you live. Didn't you understand that? Very easy. And all diseases start in the mind, and all diseases die in the mind. Krodha, Shokha, Bhaya, Ayasa, Viruddhanna Bhojana, Taponalan, Katva, Amla, Kshara, Lavana, Tikshnoshtati, Rakta, Pitta, Prakopayat. All things come from the mind. And where is the mind? Never mind. You are the mind. You don't have a body. What you call as a body is an illusion of the human mind. And the human mind is not in the brain. Every organ has a memory. Recently, my friend in London did a transplant. Magdi Yaqub is a very famous cardiac surgeon. And Magdi, when he did an operation from a 19-year-old boy who met with an accident and took the heart to a 56-year-old man who had intractable heart failure. Everything went smooth. But one thing happened. This man who recipient was a pure vegetarian. But after the transplant, he wanted only chicken in the morning, chicken in the afternoon, and probably fish in the evening, and beef in the morning. So everybody was surprised what happened. Then they went back to the history of the boy who met with an accident. He wanted chicken in the morning, chicken in the afternoon, chicken at night. And this vegetarian has become anti-vegetarian. So organs also are human beings. And they have the same creature. The mind is everywhere. So mind is not confined to a part of the body. Now, I will stop here.